Happy Monday.
Hello, welcome back to Oddvice. I'm Kristen McAtee.
And I'm Alex Coate.
And this is Oddvice Podcast, a podcast where we talk about everything we're going through as 27-year-olds here in New York City, New York. NYRK, New York.
If you're on visual and you see me doing this a lot, it's because I'm wearing a beanie and I got the forehead itchies.
That's actually what this episode's about, is
forehead itchies.
The unspoken misery of forehead itchies when you wear a damn beanie.
The misery. It's like when you wear leggings to school and your ass gets so fucking itchy.
It's not it.
You're literally sitting in your chair at school like this.
And if you scratch it, it makes it worse.
Right.
And then
now you're just scratching your ass in class.
Right. It flares up. When Alex's brother was here for Thanksgiving, we were playing cards and Alex was wearing leggings at the table and she's like, oh, I got itchy butt. And I was like, oh, dang, that's the worst. He was like, what? Like, guys just don't know what that is.
If you're not wearing leggings, you're not part of the community.
I guess that's true. It's really hard out there. So
in these streets,
our heart goes out to you if you are a victim of itchy forehead or itchy butt. And it's not a rash.
No.
It's crazy. Today's the frickin' 19th. Christmas. It's pretty much Christmas.
Yeah.
Are we all in that mode? Are your guys' jobs like totally in holiday mode right now?
Yeah. I feel like every field.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Every field is just like, you're either, if you're in retail, it's like that's all that could be talked about is gift shopping.
Yeah.
And, I mean, stores are fucking crazy right now. And then if you are in the office or even like if you're doing construction or like something like that, everyone's just like holiday mode.
Yeah. And it's like, I actually heard two women talking about it in my workout class today. They were like, oh my God, I love it. Like, I'm still getting paid, but like, I haven't done shit all week. And she was like, me too. Like, nobody in the office nobody's working right now. Everybody's just like,
I'll get to it after the new year.
Exactly. Anything that was like pressed to be done before the break is done because everybody planned for it. And now everybody's just like,
we'll get to it.
Fucking Christmas. It's like that time now where I'm noticing at the store, people are like, happy holidays. And the elevator coming up to our apartment, people are like, Merry Christmas.
Oh,
like,
hi, Link.
Oh, hi, Mom. She's been laying on your side lately.
Yeah.
The past couple episodes.
She
doesn't like me.
I saw this TikTok of this spot in Soho. It's a tattoo shop and they do flash tattoos. You could do 30 for like $130. And I got 3 flash tattoos today. So I went in and I booked my appointment. I had no idea what I was going to get. And I just like found the girl on, I looked on their Instagram because they have a whole bunch of different artists. And pull out my sleeves. I got a little Keith Haring tattoo, which is cute because this is my first New York tattoo. And he's a New York street artist. So that's cool. And then I got like a little like heart envelope thing. It's tiny. You guys probably can't even see it from there. And then I also got a little mushroom.
They're bigger than I thought they were going to be for that price. Like that's great.
Right. No, yeah. And she killed it. Like the line work is like, it looks like a stamp.
It's perfect. Literally perfect.
It's so cute.
I like how there's an X on him and it's next to your X.
Yeah. And the heart in the heart.
Oh yeah. Our hearts are here. God, I forget about that tattoo all the time.
Really?
It's just so bad. Mine is so bad. So me and Alex and Leanna did Lee and Max get them too?
Did they?
I don't remember. I don't know. I gave Lee a heart stick and poke. So I don't
remember if Max did either.
Yeah, I don't remember. We were very drunk. That's why. But we got these tattoos on Hollywood Boulevard a few years ago and mine is so bad.
It's like mine. Like I have, like, look at, mine's not even connected.
It's just so ugly.
They're really bad.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, and also they do free, like I get one free touch up for all of these. Yeah.
Love that they do that.
Yeah.
That should be like protocol. Maybe it is.
Standard everywhere. Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
You would hope. Especially something so thin, like a 1 needle tattoo. Like those.
Like I'm going to need a touch up.
They always need touch ups.
Yeah. So I did that and I literally, like, as I was getting up out of the chair, I was like, I already want like 10 more. So
it's once you break the skin, especially like we haven't been tattooed in so long, like your brain was probably like, we're back, baby.
Yep. And I already have like ideas for other ones. And I told her and she was like, oh yeah, that sounds dope. Like I'll do it.
So she'll do your shovel. What other ones do you think you want her to do?
I don't know. I still want my quote on my hand, but I pictured Justin doing that and it's such an important tattoo. Yeah.
And if you do it with Vince, like maybe he can meet you in LA or something. Or Justin comes out here sometimes.
That's what I like had that thought this morning. Obviously, like as I was thinking about this appointment, I was like, but I miss Justin. I feel like I'm cheating on Justin right now.
Yes, that's
like,
how it feels.
Yeah.
Justin is our tattoo artist from LA, and Justin V Tattoos on Instagram. He was
in our tattoo episode.
Yes. He's such a good artist. Single line work,
so talented,
incredibly detailed, a gem of a human, like the nicest person ever.
Makes you feel so comfortable.
Yeah, like I feel like other like tattoo stigmas are like these like loud, chaotic shops and like the big burly man at the front and like
doesn't say anything.
Right, but Justin's so like you just chill and he like turns on like an Adam Sandler movie.
He has such
like,
a soft energy.
Has like a popcorn machine. Like it's always a vibe. But yeah, that's how I feel. I haven't had one since him. I haven't had a tattoo in about a year, and I'm so reluctant to go to another artist because it does feel like cheating.
Yeah.
I think I've asked him before though, and he's like, "Oh,
no, he's like,
artists don't care.
No.
Like it's not like that."
No. But he does come to New York, so when he's out here, like I was thinking about DMing him and just being like, next time you're out here, please like let me be the first to know because I need something
tattooed for sure.
Yeah. Just in case you guys are wondering, we're making great headway on the 10-year reunion planning.
Oh, I was like, where is she going with this? What is she about to say? Because I'm not making progress in anything in life.
Yeah, we our friend Nicole from high school, who is like leading the planning. She's just a badass. She's a powerhouse. She's like putting together these crazy Excel sheets and like planning a whole bunch of shit as far as like how we're gonna plan. Like she's planning for the planning.
Planning for the plan. That's exactly it.
Yep, I love it.
We're about a year out, which is perfect. We want to be
We've got
like
time.
This
we want
far
to take
in
it
advance.
easy.
Yes, and we have a few other people on board helping us. Like this is gonna be so much better than we can even imagine. It's exactly how we want it to be. We want this to be like better than prom.
Yeah.
Like
we want you to like, this is the first time we're going to see each other since, I mean, for most of us, like 10 years.
10 years.
It is a 10-year reunion.
Like quite literally
right.
10 years.
But we've all like grown so much.
I know. It's crazy. Like
it's going to be
the people bringing like husbands and wives.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? You're
it's
not
going to be weird. Right. It's going to be weird to go back and not feel like we're all still in high school.
We will. I think we'll feel that way.
Right.
Like
yeah.
we're all gonna look different. Like that's gonna be the weirdest part is like we're all gonna have like little wrinkles and like I mean, like I'm not saying we're hella old, but
we're 27. We're not 17 anymore.
Right. We all have different like bodies and some of us have had kids and like we're just all gonna look different, but it's gonna feel the same. At least I hope. That's how I imagine. Was your guys' high school reunion like that? Like do you feel like you picked up where you left off, or was it just like
was everyone like, who are you?
Who is this person? There's probably gonna be a lot of people we might not even recognize. They could look completely different.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. I'm so excited.
But one of the friends that we're planning with, she's actually moving out here to New York, and we're grabbing
for the plan. She's moving to New York so that we can work on this for the next year.
Work on this together. No, she's moving out here for work. And she hit us up, and we're grabbing a drink with her tonight. It's gonna be so cool to catch up.
It'll be like the reunion before the reunion.
Right.
It'll be really, really dope.
We went to a comedy show this past week, Wednesday. We've talked about going to these comedy shows a little bit on the podcast. Oh, you cannot show that on the TV, Mom.
Chill.
We talked about going to these comedy shows. It was this guy that I matched with on Raya, and we've gone to a couple of the shows, and he fully uses his Raya to like promote his comedy shows and
all his dating apps.
All of his dating apps. Who knows how many he's on.
We have confirmation of that. We were at the show. First of all, hold on. Let's say what it looked like when we walked in.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Like you walk in and it's literally just like groups of two women, and the whole show is filled with women. it's the friend who matched with him, and then the friend who like is there for support system.
Me. Come on, I don't want to go alone. Like, what if he's crazy?
And we were one of them.
Yes, the first night we went to his show, it was the same thing. Alex was like, "Wait, do you want to go? Like this guy I'm talking to, like he said he has a show," and we're like, "Fuck yeah! Like why not?"
Totally thought he like. I don't know. And not that like I expected anything from it, but like didn't think it was a marketing ploy.
You never assume your dating app is a marketing ploy.
Right.
You were not wrong for that. Yeah. And then we got there and we were like, oh, this is deja vu.
Deja vu. Big deja vu.
Yep.
And like we had been to a few shows because like he threw a Halloween party. So like we went to that. But each show was like very similar to the previous one.
Right.
And I fully got the ick. Just sitting there and like looking around the crowd and like,
I mean, after you see the same jokes, like
hearing the same jokes and like the same delivery.
Yeah.
And like, he's funny. I'm not taking away from like his talent. Like he puts together these great shows. Like
absolutely.
The production behind it's great. It's just to be part of it or from like, I don't know, to see it from our perspective, it was a little like, okay, been here before. Don't want to come back.
I've had this experience with Chris D'Elia before. I remember I saw 2 of his shows within like a 6-month period.
It takes away the luster.
Yeah. Because I mean, a lot of comics do that. You know, you stay with the same bits. You might alter them like per the show and like what's going on pop culture wise, you know, whatever might affect it. But even with Harlan Williams, I had that when I went and saw him with Leanna and her parents. Oh. And we hadn't seen him in about over a year and he still pulled out some of the same jokes. And I was like, okay. Like I remember cracking up the first time I heard that. But I mean, you can't tell a joke twice. But that's nothing on them. But like, it's kind of on us after seeing the same show. Like that's why I said, like, we keep going?
From our perspective, like we put ourselves in that situation far too many times.
Yes. I was in the bathroom though, and it was just like in between sets. I think there was like 5 or 6 different comics that went on. They were all fucking hilarious. Yeah. But I was in the bathroom in between a set. And this girl, obviously girl talk in the bathroom. And this one girl was like, wait, like, how do you know him? And I was like, oh, my friend actually matched with him. And then he like invited us to a show and like we've gone to a few and like, whatever, like he's the homie, it's whatever. And she's like, no way. And I was like, yeah. She's like, he invited me to a show off Hinge. And this other girl was like, no way. It was totally like a movie where it was like John Tucker Must Die. Yes. Literally like everybody clicked like, oh, the common thread here. We've all fell a victim. And she's like, yeah, I brought my friend too because I didn't want to come alone. Like it was like photocopy.
Everyone was just, and we all damn near looked alike.
Yes. She showed me the messages on Hinge. I think it was Hinge. Yeah. It was the same. Like you could tell it was like a copy and pasted, like, come check out my show. Blah, blah, blah. Like
that's crazy.
It literally John Tucker Must Die.
It's crazy.
Exactly the same. I mean, okay, I get it. Like I see what he's doing, but like some of his jokes are super like men would think they're funny.
Exactly. Like I had this thought after the show. He's filling his seats with women and like a lot of his jokes they would have hit so much harder just with a different crowd.
Yeah. They were pretty misogynistic is what we're trying to say.
There we go.
That word. There's the key word.
So after that, we kind of dipped out. It was really close to the house. So we were like, oh, let's just, it'll be a quick night. But we're walking out and we're like, first of all, we walk by McDonald's and we're like, we're hungry.
I haven't had McDonald's in fucking years, but I was that hungry.
The fact that we considered it.
Right. We like, our body language started turning towards the door and we're like, no, we cannot
do this.
We have to go.
Oh no.
What?
My nail fell off.
Oh, where did it go? Finders keepers. We'll look for it later.
Okay, we have to find it.
We will. I promise. We got 4 eyes. Link's 6. She'll help. She didn't eat it. Wait, I actually heard her crunching on something earlier. I swear to Bob.
I would have noticed before we sat down.
Okay. Oh God, whatever. She's eating a staple. She's done.
Yeah, she's fine.
So we were hungry and we were like, let's get food. And there was like a pub open down the street. It was like a big Irish pub and we'd always wanted to go. We've walked past it a few times and we're like, this looks pretty good.
Cute in the winter, we keep saying.
Right. So it's winter, like time to go in. And we walk in and we go right to the bar. We're like waiting for our table to get cleaned off. And these 4 Irish guys looked at us and they were like, why are you guys wearing big coats?
Yeah. And one of them comes up to me and like puts his arm. I'm like going like this. I'm like lifting my shoulders to like show how, because I was wearing like a really big jacket. So I like exaggerated it and was like lifting it up.
Mind you, it was like 30 degrees. That's why we're wearing big coats.
It was fucking cold out.
Yeah.
And he slides in and goes into my jacket. He was hammered. Slides in, goes into my jacket and like kind of like we're both wearing my jacket at this point, and I'm like, hi.
Hey you.
Hey you, what's your name?
We didn't get their name for like probably 10 minutes.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah.
But we found out that they were all there for a work party.
Yep.
And they all work for a construction company, and you guys know how I feel about a good blue collar worker.
Yes.
They were literally all like so burly men.
Yeah.
Burly,
with like thick Irish accents.
Yes.
Too. Like,
burly men with thick Irish accents.
They were hot.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was hot.
One of them was really hot. One of them like loved his mind.
Yeah, no, he was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was cool. There was also one that was like just like, God. Oh, hammered.
Guys, he was so fucked up, and it was funny for 5 minutes, but then he like got like so like pushy, and like he at one point he like came and sat next to me and like put his arm around me, and I was like, you need to go sit over there.
Yeah.
And then that like made him mad. Like he was belligerent, you guys, and he went to the bar after that, like stormed away after I told him he needs to like get the fuck away from me pretty much. And one point he turns back at us. Like we said, we were eating. We were finishing our food. And he points at me. He goes, bitch, bitch, bitch. Calls me a bitch. Literally keeps saying it over and over again until I finally
I don't mean to laugh, but it like.
No, it was hilarious. I was more shocked. Like,
right.
Is this really happening?
Exactly.
Like, of course, I was fine. Like, he was a drunk man, and I don't give a fuck. Like, we're fine. But it was more so like Alex and I looked at each other, we're like, is this really happening
are you kidding
right now?
Are you kidding me? And meanwhile, like I said, they're at a work party. So his boss, we find out he's the boss. His boss is like, yo, sorry, ignore him. And like trying to, finally they realize like how drunk he is, and they put him in an Uber.
Yeah, they sent him home. Worst part of it all though, he was wearing a wedding ring. And he was like being all touchy, and like he like at one point he like kissed my cheek. Like he literally told me, he's like, kiss me. I was like, dude, like we're like sober too,
right?
Like it's even worse when you're stone cold sober, and then someone's like, rah, rah, you're like, we are on different planets, my brother.
Yep.
Back up. So he went home. We kicked it with the three of them for another like damn near like hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, we were there for a minute,
and it was so fun.
Yeah,
super chill guys. We were talking about like where they're from in Ireland, and just why they're in New York now. And then the hot one went home because he had to be up at 6:30 the next morning.
Yeah, he had a job site to go to.
And we were like obviously shocked, and they were like, oh, this is an Irish thing. Like it doesn't matter what you have to do tomorrow. Like you drink. We were like, oh, okay, noted. And then the one who was like the boss guy, he was dope. And like totally like not even buzzed. Like he was so coherent. And he called drunk guy, the one that called me bitch, an Uber. And the Uber, like I said, we were there for like an hour and a half extra. His Uber still wasn't to the destination.
There had to have been a wreck. He lived in New Jersey, so there had to have been a wreck on the bridge.
Yeah.
Because he was stuck on the bridge for like an hour.
Imagine. And he was fucked up. I can't imagine how he was in that Uber. But then he couldn't get home because he couldn't use his Uber app. So I called him Uber. Aww. And he was like, are you sure? Like, let me pay you. And I was like, we'll meet up for a beer again. Yeah. And he was like, okay. So,
but as one of them was walking away, he like points to me. I was like, we were all saying, bye, let's meet up for a drink again. He points to me and goes, how did he say
we'll hook up.
But he said something before. He said, oh, fuck, and hook up. And I thought he said, oh, fuck, and hook up. And I was like, whoa, and hold on, guy.
He was a little bit older than the other guy. Yeah. So the other guy was more of our age, and he quickly jumped on it. He was like, that's not what hookup means in America.
In Ireland. Or yeah. And then the guy who had said it, he was like, whoa, what happened? And he was like, no, let's get a beer. And I was like, okay, cool.
No, at first I was like, dang, they were so cool, and it just got fucked up. Like he just got weird. He just
ruined it. But no, it was dope.
They were super cool. It was so cool to meet them. That was one of those moments. We've had a few since we've moved where I'm like, I love this city. Yeah. Like meeting strangers like that and having like an interaction so positive rather than like the tension we felt in LA if we would have met someone that was a stranger. Like there was no who are you? Who do you know? Blah, blah, blah. Like it was just one of those moments where I'm really happy that we moved.
Was just like people meeting people.
Yeah. Very pure. It was a fun night though. I had 2 Guinnesses and it was a great buzz, but the next day did not feel good.
Girl,
I don't know about beer
lofty
drinking.
in the head.
Yeah, it wasn't a hangover. It was like I just felt like someone took out a third of my brain.
Whoa.
Like I was just a little dumb.
Oh.
That's what it felt like. Okay, let's do song of the day. And what are we wearing? Go ahead.
My song of the day is Baby I'm Yours by Breakbot.
Breakbot. Beep, beep.
I don't know how to get down. What's your song of the day?
My song of the day. I was like looking away too. Like, I like forgot we were podcasting for a sec. I was like thinking about how she needs a bath. Like I just had a full day's worth of thoughts in those 3 notes I hit. My song of the day is Shut Up and Let Me Go by the Ting Tings.
Ooh,
very good song.
Let me go.
Hey. What am I wearing? All neutral colors, which is ironic because last
Taupe.
episode I said I don't like neutrals.
Taupe.
It's kind of like pewtery, this one. This is the color I wore to prom. Every time I see this color, I'm like, I just remember like obsessing over this color swatch for about a month, trying to match everything to it. Socks are from Naywai. Sweats are Tanner's. The shirt is White Fox. And then the beanie is ASOS. This is like my favorite beanie right now. It's very cozy. I think the brand is, I don't remember.
But it's from...
It's not ASOS design, but it's from the website ASOS.
I thought it was from Urban. No. I'm wearing... My sweats are from Walmart.
What's that?
Wally World.
This little boutique.
That was good.
Thanks.
And then my socks are I don't know, they're just white socks. Sorry, I'm super basic today. And then freaking missing a nail. How embarrassing. And this is my Rod and Gun hoodie that my friend Tristan got me.
What's Rod and Gun?
It's like I want to look it up.
Do they sell rods and guns? That's a good one.
I don't know, it's just menswear.
Classic
Menswear. Yeah, that's all I'm wearing.
Okay, before we get into today's episode, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsor. Today's sponsor is Function of Beauty, which is a fully customizable hair care line where you can create shampoos, conditioners, treatments, and different styling products just for you.
Not only does everyone have very different specific needs for their hair, but also like your hair could change throughout your growth.
Absolutely.
So with everyone's different needs and your different needs as they're changing, you could take this hair goal quiz and you can create your own formula based on what you want and like what your specific goals are for your hair. So you can go in and take their hair quiz, and based on your goals and how you want your hair to be, you can formulate your own formulas. So you can go in and take their quiz. And then based on your hair goals, you can customize your own formula.
There's so many different kind of goals that you can have that you could choose from on the quiz. And one of mine right now is this winter, you guys, like the cold air, my hair is dry. It's sucking out all the moisture. So I'm noticing that I'm leaning towards other formulas than I even did in LA. So once you choose your goals for your hair, you can then choose the color, the fragrance, or the dye, or you can go fragrance and dye free. I would highly recommend that if you're a blonde, because sometimes those dyes and the pigment can kind of alter the shade of your hair, but it's fully customizable.
And on top of it, all of their formulas are vegan, cruelty-free, there's no parabens, and there's no sulfates. And you can also go completely silicone-free, which is nice.
So once you complete the quiz with all your hair goals, you also get to put your cute little name on the bottle. It's like function of blank. You can literally put whatever, so get creative. Then it's just fully delivered to your doorstep. And there's also benefits if you subscribe to your plan. So start giving your hair the personalized care it needs. Go to functionofbeauty.com/oddvice to take your hair goals quiz, and you'll save 20% on your first order when you subscribe. No commitments, and you can cancel anytime.
Go to functionofbeauty.com/advice to let them know you heard about it from our show and get 20% off your first order. That's functionofbeauty.com/advice to take your hair quiz and save 20% off on your first order.
Thanks Function of Beauty. Okay, so the other day, Alex and I, we have therapy every Thursday
at the same time.
Have we? I feel like we never told you guys that. We actually both have therapy the same exact time on Thursdays. So the house gets very chill around an hour before.
Quiet.
We get quiet. We usually like turn off the TV. Like we both like wrap up what we need to do for work, and then we both literally like have a good session. You too.
Yep.
And we both walk in our rooms, bang it out, and then come out after, and we're like, "How was yours?" And like some days it's like, "Oh, it was so good," da-da-da. And the other days we're just like, I'm good, man. I don't know. We're like, "Do you want to watch Love Island?" Like, I love that. That's our household, though.
I'm so happy it's at the same time. When my therapist was like, when we had our couple like intake sessions, and she was like, "Okay, let's try and figure out like a day and time that works for you. And she was like, she took a pause and she was like, just like Thursday, like 6 your time work. And I was like, that's exactly Kristen's time. It's meant to be
perfect.
It's perfect. Because like
real.
if we had different, honestly, like even different times of the same day, like that's just a lot of energy.
I'm glad we just
spread out, get it done. We're on the same wavelength most of the time.
Yeah, especially something like therapy where you're a little vulnerable after.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be able to like get out, and then we either, if it's a heavy session, we both like stay in our rooms for a little bit, decompress, or we come out and talk about it to each other. It kind of just creates like, it's like an after party.
Literally.
Like we get to like decompress, like a nightcap, like it's like an after party.
It's like the morning after going out when you're like, how was your night?
Yes.
We just like listen to each other's perspectives on how the night went.
It quite literally just like a little bit deeper and more tears.
Right.
But yes, the other day, last Thursday, we got done with our session and we had a really good talk afterwards. And our talk wasn't so much about what we both were going through in therapy, but we both had a connecting moment where Alex was telling me her literally like something really general about therapy and how she feels like it's affecting her on like an individual level. All good things. And I was like, that's exactly what happened to me when I started therapy. And we kind of had this moment where we're like, is this like a pattern? Like, is this something that happens with other people when they start therapy?
Is this work the same? I mean, the process isn't the same for everyone, but like, is it like the 7 stages of grief?
Right.
Like, is it like that where it's like all of these things could be applied once you start therapy? Like, does it open specific doors in your head kind of in order? Because like what I'm working on right now is what you worked on in the beginning, and like where I'm going feels like somewhere that you've like already hit, and like we're going down the same path. So it kind of just like opened this conversation of the process of therapy.
Yeah, which it's kind of cool to zoom out from what you're talking about and just thinking about the principle of therapy, no matter what your trauma is,
no matter what you're working on.
Because we obviously have completely different stories, but the fact that there's like an overlay is what's interesting here. But we're gonna talk about it a little bit. Who knows if it's maybe just because we're similar people and we process things similar. Either way, we feel like this might be a valuable episode to you guys to just kind of know what to expect or a potential of what can happen if and when you start therapy. So things we wish we knew before we started therapy. We had a call right before recording this with our Hella tier on our Patreon, and truly probably in my top 3 favorite Zoom calls we've ever had. It's funny because the call started with, we were just saying like stupid riddles.
Right.
And then ended with us being like, this is a safe space. Like it felt like
what does therapy mean to you?
Kumbaya circle. Right. And we were kind of talking about the creative for this episode, which we tend to do on those Zoom calls. Like I feel like they always get a little preview of what we're going to talk about that week.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of you guys, I'm sure you're listening right now. Hi, you know who you are. You guys gave some really good feedback of specifics that we can kind of touch just all about therapy. So we're going to ramble, no real, crazy structure to this, but generally things we wish we knew before we started therapy. So I feel like a good place to start is why we started therapy. This looks different for everybody, but our stories I feel like might be relatable to a lot of people. It seems like no matter what it is, I notice like a lot of people start therapy when something traumatic happens. That's kind of the push to be like, okay, I need help, which is great. And I did it too. I went through, as you guys know, a very big breakup, the biggest breakup of my life, and hit a very, very low, dark point. And therapy was my only option. I have a great, support system, and I never want to discredit that, but therapy is just so different. There's some things, and I realize it more and more every Thursday at 6, that there is so much value in having an unbiased opinion where you can talk to somebody about someone or something where they weren't there.
Right.
They don't know anything about that person, and kind of nor do they care.
Right. It's not about that.
It's not about that. It's about how it's affecting you and why and where that stemmed from and so on. So I started therapy November 2020, and going into it, I did not know what to expect. That was my first time ever having therapy in my life.
Had you debated going to therapy for like how long? When did therapy even become an option for you? And like how long did you debate it for?
Few days.
Oh wow.
It was so like I need it. I found it. I started it like
Right then.
realistic. Maybe like realistically probably like 2 weeks. From like thought to session, probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's just kind of how I work though. Wouldn't recommend it. We've said this before. Definitely recommend starting therapy when you're not in a crisis. Cause I mean, it's the same way of like taking your vitamins when you're not sick, keeping the car tuned. Right. Yeah, I hit a really bad breaking point and my sister was like, you should go to therapy. My sister's at that time was the only person in my life who was in therapy. I genuinely did not know anybody else in therapy that was like super close to me. It wasn't something my parents ever talked about. Like I feel like a lot of our parents really didn't even talk about it. Like that generation just like doesn't really fuck with therapy like that. Yeah. I remember like the conversation with my sister and she's like, I really think you should start it. And I was like, where do I start? What type of therapy? Like, I don't know. And I actually, the way let's kind of go into like finding the therapist. We'll go deeper into that. But like the way I found my therapist was I hit up Andrea. And because she was like the one other person I knew that was in active therapy, big advocate for it and had success from it. And I just wanted to know like what she was doing. And she was like, dude, love that you're trying to go. I'm in EMDR therapy. Like it's this specific type of therapy where you reprocess specific traumatic memories. And that really struck a chord with me because that's kind of how my emotions process. How do I say this? Like, when I have certain reactions to things, and I was this way even before therapy, when I have certain reactions to things, my brain immediately goes to the last time that happened to me. And I compare it to the last time it happened to me. And it makes me think of that person again. And like I tie my emotions to events rather than just looking at them as emotions. Not saying it's a good or bad thing. I still am learning. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I work that way. So when Andrea said that it goes off specific events that you reprocess, I was like, that's dope. So after that, I was like, she like sent me a website to like look at different therapists. And I got really overwhelmed and I was like, I don't need, like, how do you even go off a website? How do you even start? Just go off their face? Like, I don't know. So then my next step was I just started asking around. This really worked for me because I am like, even when I'm like thinking of like, where's a good place to get my hair done or like a good nail place, I like word of mouth so much more because the people I ask, I trust. So I trust that they're gonna have similar standards as me because like we're clearly friends. Right. So I asked my manager and I was like, yo, do you know any good therapists? And she's like, oh my God, I have one. She's the best. Sent me her link. It said her name and then it said that she was an EMDR specialist. And I was like, this is a sign. Absolutely gonna try this. And I ended up having a session with her literally a week after that. And I've been doing it ever since. So that's how I found my therapist. I think asking around was like a really good resource for me. Right. How about you? What was your kicker? Let's start there.
I had been debating like you, therapy was never talked about growing up. Like I don't even think I knew that Monica was in therapy. I didn't know anyone in therapy besides you. And I think it was 2020. It might've been 2021 where I had a really hard year personally, like in my own head. And I was never able to process emotions on my own. And knowing that and like going through the year that I had, I kind of like started to see that I needed a different way to let out all of what's inside of me.
Yeah.
And after seeing you do therapy, and it's funny because my therapist says, usually when someone starts therapy, the people around them start to see the change and then the people around them also want to go through that change. So I think that's what happened. And so I had therapy in my head for probably about a year and a half before I actually started. What the actual kicker was losing my grandparents. Yep. And going through that grief and that loss. That's when I really felt like I hit a version of my rock bottom.
Yeah.
And another friend of mine, Tanner, he had started therapy as well. And he was talking to me about his therapist. It was actually when my grandfather passed away. Tanner picked me up from the airport and we were just like sitting in silence, and I had brought it up again. And I was like, it's been a really hard past few months and I'm really like considering therapy again. And that's when he was like, you know, I just started therapy and I love it and I love my therapist. So I got in contact with his therapist and me and her clicked right away. And it felt very, very meant to be. A lot of the things that like me and her talk about and click on, and like the way that she makes me feel so comfortable, it's honestly like a bond that I've never felt with anyone right off the bat like that. And like I knew right away, okay, this is someone that I could like literally pour every secret and heart out to, and like I don't feel any judgment.
Yeah.
And I think that is why I'm so open to everything that I'm like learning in therapy right now.
Yeah. You trust her.
I trust her. And like I'm learning trust is a really big thing for me that I need to learn. And I went into therapy not really knowing what I was getting into or what I was going to learn or like what I needed to work on. It was just like a big question mark. I knew I needed it, didn't know what for. And like things are slowly starting to like roll out.
As they do.
They
creep up.
But yeah, I feel like I was lucky with how much I've clicked with her from the beginning, and to be debating therapy for a year and a half and then have that like I did wait till my crisis moment to start it, but I did it.
Yep. Like I said, it's common. I mean, humans don't think to ask for help until it's you know, the peak of the emotion, whatever that emotion is.
Right.
But that's why we want to do this episode. And like, if you're on the fence, but you're like, but I think I'm okay right now. Not saying you're not okay. Therapy is good for the times where you're okay too.
Right.
It's maintenance. It's almost even better to do it then. And going in, and I mean, shoot, you even went in with a crisis, but like you just said, you were still like, I don't know where I'm going to start.
Right. And what's crazy is like everything that I feel like I'm doing the most work on doesn't have a direct correlation to the grief that I've felt. It just has gone so much deeper than that. But in learning all and like doing all this work on this other thing is helping with my grief.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, you don't just like walk into therapy and like, I'm going to solve this problem.
Right. It's not like going to the doctor for like a broken wrist. Like it's like going to the doctor and getting a full blood panel and starting from the root of what's going on in your body.
Yep.
Yeah. I've always, when I was about to ask my manager about her therapist, before I asked her, I remember thinking like, is this like conflict of interest? Like, you know, you also hear you're not supposed to like I remember when Monica and I had the call that one night, she's like, I think you should start therapy. I was like, is your therapist available? She was like, I don't think we should do that. That I get for Monica and I, because a lot of the shit we talk about, I mean, we're fucking sisters. Like, we're clearly going to have very similar problems, and that is conflict of interest. But other than that, I think it is okay to ask your peers for like their therapist information.
I never thought there would be like weird overlap with me and Tanner.
Exactly. Or me and my manager. Like those are close relationships, but not to where like you can have a direct, you're like, I doubt you will ever have a time where you're like, oh my God, so Tanner pissed me off today. Like, you just don't have that relationship.
Right.
But there's going to be times where I'll vent about my sister, and if my therapist also helped my sister, I'm sure there'd be like
that it creates a
bias. Bias. Yeah. Opposite day. So yeah, if you are on the market for a therapist and one of your homies raves about theirs, I don't see anything wrong with word of mouth kind of testing out therapists that way. We talked about it today in the Zoom call, how rare it is to like your therapist off the bat. We want to acknowledge that for a sec, because as discouraging as I'm sure that could be, it's also normal. We're all different creatures with different needs, and all I'm trying to say is it's worth it to keep trying. I think some advice we could give for that is start thinking about like the standards you have in people that make you comfortable. Like for me, I knew I wanted a female therapist.
Me too.
Off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But my sister has a male therapist and she loves that. Like find the type of person you're comfortable with. Another big one is their voice. Like if your therapist sounds like the person who gave you the most traumatic trauma, what? You're not going to want them to be your therapist.
No.
You want somebody whose voice you like, whose presence you like, whose eyes you like. Like get picky with it. Get jiggy with it. Get picky with it. Like you deserve someone who you're fully feeling safe and comfortable with. And it can take a long time, or you can get them off the bat. But I think best advice there, it sounds like, I mean, this is even advice for dating. Go into it open-minded is all we're trying to say. Go into it open-minded, be true to yourself and the standards you need in that therapist, but don't give up. It is the best thing you will ever do for yourself, hands down. That and like stretching. 2 things you need in life.
That's all you need. Like we kind of said, we really set the tone before our sessions. Getting into it, we know we're about to be really vulnerable. We know anything could be said that we weren't expecting. And I feel like I don't know if you experience this, but most of the time if I I've like gone into sessions not knowing what exactly we're going to talk about. And it's usually something so like left field that I never knew was going to get brought up. And I'm really glad that like I go into it without that expectation.
Yeah.
Because a big thing I'm working on is my perfectionism and like my need to control outcomes. And if I went into therapy wanting to control like what we were going to talk about, it's just like negating the whole thing. And it's anxiety inducing. So like going into our therapy session really with an open mind and not having any expectations as to like what we're going to talk about. And it could even be like you said you had sessions like this before, going into it and like not talking about anything deep, or just like maybe being a little surface level, or not talking at all and like sitting in silence.
Yep.
Having that the expectation of no expectation is a good expectation to have. I
was talking about this with Tanner the other day because we were talking about how sometimes there's sessions where you might not go as deep as you did last time. Mm-hmm. And you know, I've had times where I'm like, is this just a waste of a session? There's nothing really going on in my life right now. But it's never a waste of a session. Giving your brain and your subconscious and your inner child and your present person, and giving yourself that 1 hour of a safe space per week just does wonders. Knowing you have that for yourself, it's a form of self-care. Like granting yourself that safe space each week does more than several conversations will ever do for you. So yeah, I agree. Going into it with no expectations is the best way to go. I find that sometimes I'll have days where I'm like, I don't want to do therapy. Mm-hmm. Like
it's daunting.
Yes.
It could be very daunting going into a session.
Whether I'm tired or I have shit to do that is more on a time crunch than therapy, or whatever the case is. It happens more than you'd think. And I don't want to say that to discourage you if you're somebody who's contemplating therapy. Because it's also, I've now known every time I have that hesitation before, they're always the best sessions.
Yep.
I think our subconscious is like rallying up, knowing where something's about to fucking spill.
Yep.
And that is just your emotion and your brain resisting that potential conversation. Because usually the days I'm denying it are the days where I think deep down I know I need to talk about something really deep.
It's usually the days, at least for me, where like I'm resisting getting vulnerable in the first place.
Yes.
And like I don't want to talk about my feelings right now.
Yeah.
But then I sit down and like I take a deep breath and I'm like, I let it out, and it's like, oh, maybe that's exactly what I needed.
It is. Every time.
Every time.
I cannot name one time where I've resisted a session and then been like, oh, see, that was a waste of a session. I knew it.
No,
never.
Not
once. I think the pre and post session ritual, if you will, is just as important as the session. Like we said earlier, you know, like 5:45 hits. Alex and I, we go into our rooms, giving yourself even 5 minutes if you could do it. Because there are days where we're busy and like, you know, you're running right into therapy, whatever.
Right.
Slow down, clock out mentally what you were doing before, whatever that task was, and get into self-care mode. Light a damn candle. Mm-hmm. Open a window, get some fresh air. Yep, I always do mood lighting and incense.
Do a quick meditation. I have this app. It's called Insight Timer. They have like, You should check it out. I do their sleep meditations a lot. But they have like 5-10 minute guided meditations. Sit there and do that. And it really just like, breath work.
Yeah. Just even
really underrated.
Staring at a damn wall. Sometimes I'll sit there and like, I'll just think like, you're in a safe space now. Like I have like affirmations for myself where I'm like, be open, be still, be silent, be still, like be gentle with myself, whatever I need to hear that day or whatever I feel like I need to hear or whatever I want to hear that day. You're a bad bitch. Like whatever it is that day, get yourself into the right headspace. And then post therapy, I never really thought of this one until my therapist, I think like about a year ago, she was like, I never asked you this, but like, what do you do after our sessions? And I was like, I don't know, like usually
go on with my day.
Yeah. Like go back and like check my notifications or like go pet my dog. I don't know. She has urged me and I've done it ever since and now tell you guys to do it. At least 10 minutes after the session, like stay there and just like, you don't have to like think deep. You don't have to sit and journal. Just like sit with it. Like, freaking braid your hair, twiddle your thumbs, just like sit in that silence and like take a big mental breath of all that really hard work you just did. No matter how deep or shallow you went in that session, like the fact that you are forcing yourself to get vulnerable that day is a victory in itself. So sit with that and enjoy it and soak it in. Yeah. Sometimes I'll have like a really big breakthrough though. And I'm like, I need to write this down before I forget.
When I recently, cause I do this thing where like, I feel like I do all this work and then a day later, I feel like I forget it all. Like it's just a lot of it could be a lot. So I'm a very visual person and I have been taking notes in my sessions. And then also after my sessions, I'll sit down and I'll just do like a quick brain map of everything that like we talked about. And it's literally just like word vomit. Like I'll just do like it looks like a family tree of just like words and connections that we made in the session. And I have something to like go back to before my next session. And it kind of just like picks up where we left off. It's for me, it's nice. It like putting my thoughts down on paper. Well, I've learned through therapy that getting my thoughts out in general is helpful for me, but putting them on paper specifically is like, it's a way to like workshop them for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's visual. It creates a tangible, like touchable, fabricated version of your thought.
Right. And that's what I need to validate my thoughts a lot of the time.
I like that because I don't do it all the time, but when I do, it feels good. And I know what you mean. Sometimes you feel like you forgot it all by the next session, but then
it comes up.
It
does.
And something my therapist tells me a lot, especially with EMDR, is that type of like emotional work and, you know, reprocessing and creating new brain connections, whether you're doing EMDR or not. There's a residual work done there. Like I'll have, the way we start every session is like, did anything come up after last week?
Yeah.
We always start with that. And there's always something to say. Either I had a certain dream or a super intense cry sesh the next day or something really amazing and like a very positive breakthrough, or I had a really, really good day yesterday. Like just know that it's doing more, even if you're not like writing it down and like clocking everything. Like it's being applied. Yes.
It's being applied.
I just want to say that because like this might just sound like a lot of work to someone. Like what we're saying right now sounds like, oh my God, I have to do that and then take notes. And like, what is this, school?
You don't have to do what works for you. Like
exactly.
And not everyone, not everyone's the same. Everyone takes in information differently. I think we all learn this from school. Like not everyone learns the same.
Right.
And that's the same for therapy. Like everyone processes knowledge very differently, and what works for you might not work for anyone else. Yep. But
this works for us. So maybe you'll relate to it. I mean, we all have something in common, right?
Right. Let's talk about resources real quick. Obviously, if you guys have listened to us before, we talk about BetterHelp a lot, but there's a lot of other options out there as far as just asking for help in general. I know my work offered like counseling and therapy, and I didn't even know about it until I asked, I like saw it was at the bottom of some like benefits list. So ask your company, ask your school. Yeah. On our Zoom call, one of our patronies had mentioned that her school offered free sessions, I think like 8 sessions a semester
or something,
which is great.
Yep. Free.
Right. when I was doing like my little word of mouth hunt, when I was debating therapy, a friend had mentioned a company called Two Chairs. He has been using it for years. He said it was great. There's a lot of options out there to ask for help, and asking for help, that's the big part.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of resources out there, but like sitting down and asking your peers for help, asking, like we said, companies, your school, doing a quick Google search. There's a lot of resources out there.
You're so right. Asking for help is the hardest part. I think that was a big, I know that was a big thing for me in the beginning of therapy was pride.
Yeah.
Was like, really, bitch? You need that? Like,
right.
I
And like,
I was kind of hard on myself about it.
especially with the way that therapy wasn't talked about in our like childhood growing up. It's almost as if it was this thing that you don't need if you're,
it was
if
a
you
crutch.
It was a crutch. You don't need it if you can get through day to day. Like, what do you need therapy for? Like,
right. Therapy was under the umbrella of like rehabilitation.
right.
Like, no, it's maintenance. It's the same, like we keep saying, the same way you take your vitamins.
Yep.
And I feel like that's one of the best parts about like millennials, Gen Z, and all the younger generations. I love how much we're like, no,
right.
like I
our
need this and I'm
mental
proud.
health our mental health has become such a priority with this generation. And I hope for us, it's taking away the stigma of therapy and starting therapy and what it means to be in therapy. I mean, I see all the time, like even on dating apps, I see like, if you're in therapy, fuck yeah, like my profile, because we can talk about it. Like
it's become a standard at this
right.
point for me, like going off the dating point. Like I don't want somebody who thinks they're too cool for school and doesn't need it. I think it's hot when you tell me you're in therapy.
Right.
Like
it's not taboo anymore.
No. And I want to make the pride point, because like if you're listening to this right now and you're like that, like I feel you. Pride is no fun, and when you have it, it's not always the best thing. It might look cool on the outside, but it's a fucking monster to have too much pride. And asking for help is still one of the things I'm working on. And I just want to say, like, if you need to hear this, you are not weak to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with you to ask for help. You are actually really fucking strong to ask for help. You are really strong to start therapy. You are. So like, even if you're considering it, you don't know when you want to start, but you know you want to start it at some point. I am proud of you. We are proud of you, because that realization and that
self-awareness,
yes,
it takes a lot of courage.
It takes so much courage. And I don't know, I can't stress enough how like cool that is that you are even considering it at all. Like, we're not just saying this. Therapy is the best thing you will do for yourself. And no matter how you get it, the resources we listed and the millions more that there are. Side note, if you know any others that we did not name, because we didn't name them all, please comment them down below.
Yes.
Like, talk amongst yourself. There's just so many resources, and they're there for you for a reason, and they're valuable. And even just talking to somebody for 5 minutes will do so much for you than you know. So please don't feel weak to ask for help. I think it makes you strong.
Speaking of how it changed our standards for dating, I feel like it's fully changed, like at least my perspective on everything. I feel like I now have like, I told my therapist this, I now have like therapy goggles on.
Yeah.
Like when I do and react and like say anything, it's not that I'm like analyzing it, but I'm looking at like almost a third perspective.
Yeah.
And like seeing how a big thing that I'm working on is how my actions affect other people, and how it also affects me and my reaction to how it affects other people. And looking at it through that lens is just like a whole new spectacle that I've given myself through therapy.
Something to be prepared for if you start therapy is, it might come out that way Alex is saying, or another way, but generally just be ready for like mindfulness. The therapy goggles is a great analogy. For me and for other people I've talked to that have started therapy, they've noticed the same thing, where they're just, you think a little bit deeper about everything and you dissected it a little bit more, but not in like an exhausting way, just in like an awareness way. You're just more aware of cause and effect, if you will. You're more aware of just your ripple in the world. And that's the goal for humanity. Vote me for president. I think like
literally
if we all just
self-awareness,
had a little bit more awareness of our ripple effect, just a little, just like sit on that. Like, think about how the world would be. And that's what therapy does. That's why I think everybody should fucking have it, no matter what you're working on. If you're working on anything, just knowing that first breakthrough you have in therapy, where you bring up something and it goes back to your childhood. Because blanket statement, I say this with just my personal experience. I am not a professional in any way, but generally the problems that we have as adults are stemmed from our childhood.
It's when we were shaped as human beings.
We were little baby sponges, and that's all we were around for about 18 years, give or take. And it tends to go back to that. So once I started noticing that these problems I'm processing at 27 years old still stem back to a childhood age, it really, really enforced the point of the ripple effect.
Right.
And how things that happen around you and things you do to people, no matter their age, but like, you know, especially about the youth, affects them forever.
Right.
Like the words you say, the things you do to people, like, affect them.
And it only
period.
takes one experience.
Right. Exactly. And I'm like, I don't know, like, do you feel like that? Like, therapy made you realize, like, oh, everything matters.
Yes, absolutely. Everything has, I mean, like I said, I went into therapy. Sorry, I feel like I'm sitting away from Kristen, but it's because my hip hurts. I feel like I went into therapy not knowing like the pinpoint.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, oh, everything that I once thought didn't really mean anything actually means so much.
Perfectly said. That might sound overwhelming now that I say it out loud.
Yeah, I don't, and like, that's why I wanted to preface, like, not overanalyzing things. And like you had said, not in a daunting way when we like the mindfulness. It's because it's a new tool. It's a level of self-awareness that, like, speaking for myself, it's a level of self-awareness that I did not have before. And now it's like I can go into these situations a little more knowledgeable about how, like, the space that I'm taking up as a human and how I'm reacting to things and how, like, the ripple effect.
Yep.
What it actually means.
This is kind of just clicking for me right now. We're prefacing that it's not a scary, daunting thing, because I think we're thinking about, obviously we're thinking about the listeners here, assuming somebody listening right now has never been to therapy and is contemplating it. We don't want to scare them away.
Yeah.
And we're not lying to you when we say it's not as scary as it sounds. But no, you're looking at two examples right here. And I'm sure down in the comments below, you could talk to other people that have been in therapy. It's not as scary as you think, because trust that your psyche and your higher power will not open up realizations for you. It will not open up doors for you unless you are mentally equipped to handle them. That just goes for life in general. But like, God, the universe will never give you something you can't handle. And that goes the same for your breakthroughs in therapy. The things we're saying now, if 2 years ago versions of us were sitting at the table right there, they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to process? That sounds like the most out of this world, crazy, big concept to mentally wrap your head around. But it's a gradual thing. I've been doing this for 2 years. Alex has been in it for 6 months. Like, that's a long fucking time, dude.
Yeah.
And it's a gradual realization. So I just want to put that out there. So it's not as overwhelming as it may sound.
And putting it in simple terms, it's like connecting the dots.
Yep.
A lot of the times you sit there and they're just like a whole bunch of little aha moments that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And it just helps you see the world in a little bit of a different light. And if you look at things a little differently, it just connects more dots and things just start to make more sense.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Like again, going back to like how I started, things weren't making sense. And I think that was a big push for me to start therapy. And in learning all of these tools in therapy, things just started making sense.
Yeah.
And it opened my eyes when I needed my eyes to be opened.
The power of validation does a lot for you, because that's a lot of what therapy is, for me at least, is aside from like the EMDR shit, like generally, and like my therapist has told me this, we have the answers.
Yeah.
We know what we need as individuals. They just bring it out for us. And they talking about the therapist, they hold the mirror up and they help us like work through what we really already know, what I believe our souls come to this earth already knowing. It's just our human consciousness needs to step forward and learn it again. You've got to learn it all over again. That's a human experience. So the times where it's hard and sticky and confusing, like, don't give up. Like you wouldn't be in that position if you weren't ready to build that awareness and open your eyes to whatever you're about to learn in that session that day. It's great. I love it. It's the best thing ever. I recommend it to everybody. We say it every fucking episode. It's created a new standard that I hold myself to, and it's not a toxic standard either.
Right.
It's my standard of myself is acceptance. It's almost like an opposite of a standard.
Yeah.
Like my standard is not having standards and like accepting whatever I am that day, that moment.
No
that
judgment.
minute. No judgment to yourself, and being gentle with yourself. And, you know, in therapy, learning that being gentle is such a big key in life has also made me be a lot more gentle to other people, which again, I think all humans need to do more.
Yeah. One of my really like big breakthroughs, it's even weird saying this because like it feels like such like a fundamental like human experience, but compassion. Like going through and talking about the need for compassion, and me and my therapist use the word compassion a lot. It's just a word I don't use on my day to day, and it's something that I don't think about before therapy. I'm talking. I didn't think about like on the day to day, and like now it's such like a big part of my mindfulness that it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that like sounds like duh, but I mean, if it's not if it's not used in your everyday vocabulary, and if it's not used in your everyday practices, it's connected to a lot more than we originally think.
Right. Therapy humbles you in that way, where you're like, you think you knew, and then you're like, wait, I guess I don't live by that every day.
Right.
And you kind of check yourself.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, well, now I know.
Yep.
I just can't get over how the whole time we're recording this episode right now, if you don't know, the set is our living room. So our TV's right behind the camera, and we have couples therapy.
Oh, yeah.
We've literally been watching couples therapy before we started recording this. And
Great
like,
show.
yes, but but yeah, relax. We get it. You like therapy.
We get it. You go to therapy.
That's the thing. It will become your personality a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then you just have to find your like-minded people that will geek out over it too and talk about it like this. And
like in the at the comedy show, one of the comics was like, "Is anyone in therapy?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, we're like, "Woo!" There was literally people like, "Yeah!"
Like hyped up.
We're a community.
No, literally. I love it.
No, it's such a standard now. Like there was a therapist that commented on my Vlogmas the other day, and I was like, oh my God, hi. Like I feel like I was talking to a celebrity. Like it's cool. It's so cool. I feel like it's equivalent to like crypto people.
Yeah, it is.
But like we're actually changing the world.
We're buying and selling to each other thoughts.
Emotions. We're buying and selling and trading vibes. Right.
Therapy's just vibes, guys.
Just like healing vibes. Just like go to it and you'll be better.
And this coping mechanism is called humor.
That's never going away.
No, I will hang on to that shit for dear life.
No, I will say my therapist has never nixed me for it.
No.
And like I do it a lot in the sessions, and she'll just laugh with me.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So.
My big mecking copenism that
what is
mecking copenism?
Yes.
My big coping mechanism that I actually need to work on, and that I am working on, is perfectionism.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Oh yeah, let's talk about what we're working on right now. Right now I'm working on oh God, where do I start? My health anxiety. I'll share this. I don't care. I don't even care. See? Watch this. Ready?
Watch this. Pride gone.
Pride who?
Whoa. I saw her face in the reflection. I got scared.
Oh, that's my pride. That's damn near what my pride looks like. So I have really bad health anxiety, medical anxiety. It has gotten to the point where we were watching
Dead to Me.
Oh yeah, that too. But what was Charlie D'Amelio just on? Dancing with the Stars.
Oh.
And Selma Blair came on, and she has MS, right? Is that what it is?
I believe so.
I think it's MS. And it was literally like the first or second episode, and they had like a really awesome, quick bit with her and talked about her journey with it and how like she's so happy to be on the show and that the hardships that dancing has brought to her, but like all these things. Really great segment. And I sat there, and I was just like really tense, because where my head goes when I hear about an illness like that is I start scanning my body thinking I have it. And I immediately, like as we're watching it, I'm on my phone researching like pre-symptoms to know if you have it or if you're like susceptible to it. And, generally the pre-symptoms to anything are like fatigue and,
all the
pretty
basics.
general things. And I started like convincing myself and I had to shut off my phone. We finished the episode and I remember just like sitting up in bed before falling asleep, just being like having to talk myself through it. Another one was when Justin Bieber posted about his I forget the name.
Lyme's disease?
No. When his face drooped.
Oh.
I forget the name of what had happened to him, but I'm sure a lot of you guys have remember that. It was only a few months ago, like over summer. When he posted that, I remember I saw that post, and you remember this, Alex, that whole week I kept looking in the mirror and I kept asking Alex, like, is my face drooping? Like I really started convincing myself like it's gonna happen to me. And then, you know, I saw TikToks about it and doctors coming on being like, yeah, this is stemmed from shingles. And at that same time, I was having a psoriasis outbreak, which I get when I'm really stressed. And a big place that my psoriasis comes is on my ears and my scalp. And one of the ways that his face dripping, again, I don't remember the name of it, it stemmed from shingles, and it could be in the ear, which can go to the nerves in the face. So I started thinking my psoriasis on my ear was going to spread to my face. And I made an appointment, and I literally went and got it checked out by a dermatologist. And she was like, oh, it looks like psoriasis. She gave me a cream, whatever. She's like, any more questions? I'm about to walk out the office. And I was like, I'm sorry, I just have to ask this, like, for me, like, you saw what happened with Justin Bieber, right? Blah, blah, blah. We talked about it for a sec. I was like, do you think that's what's happening to me? And like, she actually, like, she's like, sit back down. She had to sit me back down. And
she saw the fear in you.
I told her I had like really bad medical anxiety, and she was like, this is not the same thing. You do not have shingles. Like, you know, she asked about other medical history to like reassure me in other ways. And, you know, that happened. And then Dead to Me season 2, same thing. We literally watched 10 minutes of the first episode because the main character was in the hospital. I don't even remember what happened. I already fucking blocked it out.
For a car crash.
Yeah. She was like, I don't know. She was in the hospital for some reason. And I told Alex I had to turn it off. So currently working on that, learning that it's not that I'm solely scared that I'm going to have those things. That's just the outlet that my anxiety's latching onto. And it's a fear of change, loss, and control. Because I also get like this with like people I love. And like even like my mom will tell me she's like gonna start a new vitamin, and I'm like, have you researched it? Have you talked to your doctor? Like I obsess.
You fixate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over the health of it, and if it's going to make someone live longer and like be okay. And like it's a fear of losing control and losing people. The same way I get when I'm like, text me when you get home. If that person doesn't text me when they get home, like I'm not just saying that to be nice. I'm saying it because I'm gonna freak out until you get home, because I'm gonna be scared something happened.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on. I had a really good breakthrough the other day though. Like
even you sitting here and talking it out, like I could tell it's hard, but I could also tell you could do it. Whereas you couldn't do this a couple months ago.
No, not at all.
You didn't even want to hear it.
No. Yeah, I thank you.
It's big. It's a lot of growth.
It's still like weird. Like I definitely don't think I could watch that season yet, but we'll get there.
It'll be there.
But I'm now telling myself like, don't go on your phone, don't look it up. And like if I scroll past, because like here's the downside is I also really love health stuff. It does genuinely interest me. I love holistic health. I think it's so cool. I love Chinese medicine and
the knowledge of it.
Right. Yeah. I think there's also a lot of like really cool connections there too. And like I also really think it's cool where trauma is stored in the body. So I like to research that stuff. But then with that, there's also like diseases that'll pop up that are stemmed to certain traumas and whatnot. But where I was going with this is like my For You page will be that stuff a lot, because like obviously I research it, but now I'm learning like I have to just scroll. Like even if it's something that I would have thought is really cool, like I don't need to know it. I don't need to know it right now. Like sometimes not knowing might be better in this case for me.
Right.
Like this subject. So that's what I'm working on. Thank you. So how does your anxiety come out? Because that's she said that was like it's a thing, like where everybody's comes out in a different like fixation.
Cleaning absolutely, fully cleaning. It's another fear. It's control. It's loss of control. If there's anything that I can control, I know it is a clean house, and it has become my outlet for my anxiety. It's harder to talk about. It's new. It's the cleaning's not new. The cleaning has been my whole life.
Talking about it
Talking about it is new. And even realizing that it was part of my anxiety disorder is new.
Right. Like I bet that's interesting. A lot of people praise you for it. Cause like on the outside, cleaning, to be a cleanly person is like the goal. Like clean people are great.
Yeah.
But when
it's crippling and like I want to go curl up in a ball and cry after I clean the house, like,
and when someone's praising you for something that deep down is a coping mechanism, that's heavy.
That's heavy.
That's definitely like
there's a big like push and pull in my head.
Yeah.
As far as like why it's validated and like expectations of me. I'm working on it. I'm doing this thing where I'm like, God, this is gonna sound so silly.
No, it's not.
Where like if I clean the kitchen, I don't fold the napkin and like I leave it messy on the counter and I have to walk away from it and I have to tell myself that it's going to be okay and the world's not going to end if I didn't wipe the counters down. And it's like, even before therapy, if I even thought like if I'm sitting here on the couch and I have a brief like picture in my head that there would be like a coffee stain on the counter, I would get up and do it in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And because if I didn't, then my thoughts would spiral and I would be so anxious and like I would shake, and it's tunnel vision until I clean it. And now
it stops all other processing until you get that done.
Yep. So now I'm trying to catch the thought in the moment and let it go and not let it like debilitate me in the moment is a small victory, and like walk away from it.
It's a big victory, Alex. Like I think you should see it that way. I think
thank you.
Validating yourself and like being like celebrating the I'll put it in quotes, small things. I think even giving it a size is silly.
Right.
Like when it comes to like progress in therapy, the size in which the victory is does not matter.
Right.
It's the progress forward. Like let's go directional rather than like the distance.
Like that.
You're just going forward.
Right. The
fact that you're even willing to change it, because there are still so many things that I'm like, I don't want to change it. No, like there's still like stubborn things, and you know, it's a big part of your life that you're willing to change, which is really admirable because it's easier to change the little things.
Right.
But the fact that you're going like balls to the wall and attacking the biggest, one of the biggest things, like just go that way with it. Like don't worry about how big it is, how small it is. Like,
thank you.
You're just doing it. Like,
right.
And that's enough.
It's practice.
Yeah.
It's practice. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God, my forehead's so itchy. And you get this beanie off my head. So yeah, those are some of the things we're working on right now. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
You're not alone, guys. That's all we're going for here is there's nothing wrong with starting therapy. And there's
nothing wrong with your process to get there either.
Exactly.
Some people it takes a day, some people it takes 10 years or 30 years or 40 years.
And that's fine too. Like just starting at some point is really
the goal.
And this is only 2 perspectives. This episode is only 2 perspectives. Talk to other people, and generally, I don't know, the people I talk to that are in my life that are in therapy are super willing to talk about their experience.
Yeah.
Just asking people, hey, are you like, can I ask you some questions about therapy? They'll set the boundary if they need to and go from there. There's nothing wrong with asking other people about their experience too. And if that's what it takes to create your comfort around the topic and potentially starting it, like, so be it. It looks different for everybody. So don't get discouraged. And honestly, like, I know it's hard, but like try and get excited about it too. You know, I don't need to get like stupid hyped or anything, but like I try to pump myself up that like you're doing the thing that the dozens of generations behind you never did. Like that's just, maybe that's a coping for me. Like I have to like hype myself up that way and be like, you're doing the work. You're putting in the work to break generational trauma, and
you get to see your growth.
Yeah.
Like as it's happening.
Yes.
It's fun. Like
it's fun.
I get to see these things, these big things about myself that I thought were so permanent and so just like in quotes who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I get to see them change and grow and evolve in real time, and it's giving me like purpose in myself again.
It's giving me life.
Yeah, literally.
Slay
It's
queen. Making me slay. No, sorry, I had to. But like all seriousness, don't you feel like the work you're putting into yourself makes you realize you can change big things about yourself?
Yes.
Which in turn gives you confidence in who you are, because you're like, I could be whoever the fuck I want to be.
Yep.
Like if I could change how I feel about my biological father, I could change my hair color.
Literally.
And that's why I dyed my hair red for Halloween. Thank you. But like, actually, like, it gives you the confidence that like nothing is permanent and you can be exactly who you want to be. Be who you want to be. We sound like bumper stickers. God damn, let's get off this shit. Patreon.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Anna on our Hella tier, she recommended like a really cool format. So you patrons listening, let us know if you'd be down for this. A live Zoom call. We'll record it too. So if you're not able to make the Zoom call, you have record. We'll record the whole thing, but kind of a live face-to-face Q&A about therapy. If you guys want us to go deeper in any experiences.
For every tier. Usually we just do Zoom calls for Hella, but
thank you.
For every tier.
Yes.
Literally everyone who's on Patreon, big live Zoom call.
And we'll just ask us questions, kind of just like a live podcast, but over Zoom and about therapy.
Right.
Anything you want to ask, as deep as shallow, but you know, let's stay on topic and just total open session. I have never thought of that format. That's so cool. It's like a live show, but with computer screens.
Right.
So let's try that out. All tiers on Patreon. If you don't know and you're new here, hello. We do have a Patreon. We have 3 tiers where we post another follow-up episode every Friday to that Monday episode, usually staying on topic and kind of reading your guys' DMs and having more of an advice column, if you will, post Monday episode. So that's always linked down below if you want to check it out. But yeah, I'd say if you are a patron, get on Discord. Let's start talking in the Oddvice chat and let's figure out a good day next week. I know it's the holidays, so let's try and keep it anytime before Thursday because we have some family coming in town. And obviously like Christmas is coming. So let us know what times work for you. But again, if you can't make it, it will be recorded. And I'm sure because nobody's alone, a lot of the questions that are going to be asked will be your questions. So I think it'll be beneficial either way. So yeah, sound off in Discord whenever you listen to this.
That'll be fun.
This is my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite episode.
A little scared. She texted me on my way to my appointment and was like, what if we talked about therapy? And I was like, let me think about it. And I was like a little scared.
Yeah.
And just because it's so new to me.
Sure.
Like it's a big topic for me.
It's crazy to talk about because usually topics we talk about we've already fully processed.
Right.
Whereas we're talking about a topic that's never done. But like
never going to be done.
That's why I wanted to do this because we preach therapy so much. But what about the people that are like, I'm not even there yet? Can we talk about like
what even is?
Like what am I to expect?
What am I getting into?
Because I didn't know what the fuck to expect going into therapy. And that was a big part of my hesitation was just the unknown. So yeah, that's why I want to do this. And we hope it helped you guys. This is seriously, I can confidently say this is my favorite episode of season 3.
Oh yeah. Easily.
Other than that, if we don't talk to you until after the holiday, have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. I hope you have fun with your family, alone, whatever you're doing. I know it's a weird time. Just take it one moment at a time and enjoy it as much as you can. When in doubt, watch Elf. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I love you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Monday the 26th will be our New Year's resolution episode.
Yes.
So get ready for that.
Yep.
And then we're going to take a little holiday break. But we'll talk to you next Monday. We love you so much.
Bye. Bye.